A day of protest. Lawmakers will meet today to confirm the Electoral College vote won by Joe Biden, but they'll be met with pro-Trump supporters and several Republican senators challenging those results. We'll have the latest from Washington. And where's my money? Still haven't received your stimulus check? What could be causing a delay and how you can track where your money is. And Caillou canceled. The flagship PBS show is being taken off the airwaves after 20 years. It might be just a show, but not to your kid. How to break the news to your child without breaking their hearts. It's Wednesday, January 6th. Today in Iowa starts now.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News, today in Iowa at 4:30.
Hey, it's Wednesday. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Jody Long. Andy will join us in just a bit, and we'll get to those top stories, too. But first, we want to head over to our friend Megan Sawal this morning for a check of today's forecast. Hi, Megan.
Hey, good morning, Jody. We are waking up to cloudier skies this morning in central Iowa. We even have a couple of pockets of rain and some snow showers passing through.
The time is 4:57 this morning, and here's the news you need. Congress will meet today to count the electoral votes and officially declare the results of the 2020 presidential election. Dozens of Republicans say they will object to the results, forcing votes in the Senate and House. President Trump has urged Vice President Pence to decertify the results, but Pence has allegedly told the president that he cannot do that. Well, if you still haven't received your stimulus check yet, it could be coming by mail, or it may have something to do with your tax preparer. Some preparers currently are working to get the refunds deposited properly. To track your stimulus check, use the IRS Get My Payment tool. And if you get a message saying payment number 2 status not available, then you'll need to claim a recovery rebate credit on your 2020 taxes. Des Moines police are looking for the suspect in last night's shooting that sent one person to the hospital. The shooting happened around 9 p.m. near Good Park in the Drake neighborhood. Police say the victim showed up to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the stomach. The victim's condition is not being released. However, police did find a shell casing along 17th Street, and police are still investigating. Many healthcare workers here in the metro are now in line for their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Mercy One will start giving the shots today. Unity Point tells us their workers will get dose number 2 sometime this week. And after that second dose, the vaccine becomes 94% effective at preventing the virus.
Responders are now getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm Kaylin Thompson live in Des Moines with an inside look at the new vaccination station coming up.
And we'll keep you up to the minute on traffic this morning. Here comes more of Today in Iowa.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News, today in Iowa.
5 a.m. on this Wednesday morning. Man, it felt like Tuesday lasted for 2 days. I don't know about you. It was a long day
It sometimes
yesterday.
does, yeah. Tuesdays
Yes.
are rough. Yeah, we're glad to be here on Wednesday, hump day, get over the hump day and get a little closer to the weekend. We want to find out what to expect today outside. We've got Megan here with us this morning. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning. We are waking up to cloudy, overcast conditions here in central Iowa. We even have a bit of a rain-snow mix in a few parts of central Iowa in our viewing area, especially up towards Fort Dodge.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News, today in Iowa, Saturday.
Good morning. Welcome to Today in Iowa Saturday. I'm Justin Cerncy. Thank you for joining us. Plenty of news to get to, including the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Iowa and how a local hospital is honoring those frontline workers. But first, the weather department. Will the sun be honoring Iowans today or not, Megan?
You know what? It may be hard pressed to get some sunshine. We may get some filtered sunshine, but I do think those clouds are going to hold on tight over central Iowa. We are waking up to a bit of some cloudiness, especially across southern Iowa.
An explosion outside his home wakes an East Side man overnight. What police say caused it and why the homeowner says it's not something to joke around with. And people are finding some major issues as the vaccine rollout opens for senior citizens, while one senator is calling the pace of the rollout inexcusable.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News, Today in Iowa Sunday.
Good morning. Welcome to Today in Iowa Sunday. I'm Justin Cernsey. Thank you for joining us. Plenty of news to get to, including the latest standoff between the president and his colleagues in Congress. But first, what we're looking at in the weather department as we head into the work week tomorrow. Megan.
Hey, good morning, Justin. We'll have pretty quiet conditions and even somewhat foggy weather at times.
It's Wellness Wednesday on Hello Iowa, and we're going to help you reach your health and fitness goals the smart way to do it. Plus, we're going to be in the kitchen whipping up a Nourish Bowl. How those ingredients will help you get through your day. Come along for the fun. Hello Iowa starts right now. Hello. Hello, Iowa. Happy Wednesday. We are halfway through our first full week of the year. Can you believe it? We're hoping to help you start 2021 off right. WHO 13 meteorologist Megan Sawa is back on the show today to help us get started. Hello, Megan.
Good morning. Hopefully you're having a great start to your Wednesday.
I am so far. I hope you are too.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
Did you know what today is? We both learned.
We did both learn, so or should I pretend like I don't know?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. What day is it?
It's National Cuddle Up Day.
Cuddle Up Day, okay.
Well, I've seen it both ways. Cuddle Up Day and National Cuddling Day.
Okay. So I guess it's important to cuddle, and we should recognize that today?
Well, yeah, I guess there are a lot of health benefits, whether you're cuddling with a loved one. We like to cuddle with our puppy on the couch. So here's a picture I found. I tried to look through to find a cuddling picture.
A cuddling picture. You got the dog there. You got the blankets over the kids. Oh, yeah, that looks familiar.
The final hurdle. The president's attempts to reverse the outcome of the election have turned formalities into major fusses. We'll look at his last chance to hang on today. Flip the Senate. The Democrats are on the verge of doing just that in Washington. We'll look at the latest from the runoff elections down in Georgia. The news at noon starts now.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News at noon.
Take a live look at the U.S. Capitol as the U.S. House and Senate meet in a joint session to certify the Electoral College votes in the 2020 presidential election. Good afternoon. I'm Andy Fales. Washington, a very busy place this afternoon. That meeting to certify Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 presidential election is typically a short event, an uneventful ceremony. But this year, not so much. Susan McGinnis explains. All right, coming up, many people are trying to figure out what to do with their old gadgets now that they've gotten new ones for Christmas. Later in the show, we'll share the right and wrong ways to dispose of old technology. But first, friendly callers. Volunteers in Utah are signing up to brighten up the day of the homebound, lonely senior citizens out there. What inspired the program and the impact it's starting to have.
You're watching WHO 13 News at noon. WHO 13 News, the local news leader.
I will stand in recess until the call of the chair.
We'll pause. Thank you.
The pause recess at the moment. Everything changed. The protesters broke into the U.S. Capitol. Members of Congress were evacuated during the Electoral College count, and now the National Guard has been called in. We're going to bring you the very latest, including how members of Iowa's congressional delegation are doing right now.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News at 4.
For more than 200 years, our country has prided itself on the peaceful transition of power, but that ended today with the U.S. Capitol overrun as Congress tried to finalize the presidential election. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. I'm Dan Winters. It is a stunning day in U.S. history that all started with protests at the Capitol and quickly transitioned into more like a riot. Here's a live look outside the Capitol right now. Thousands of protesters remain there. They've already disrupted the effort to confirm the results of the November election, showing that Joe Biden is the next president. The protests, they started out peacefully, but then it got more violent following a speech from President Trump. In the meantime, a somber milestone reached today in the fight against COVID-19 in Iowa. We'll tell you the number of deaths that has been surpassed and how the second rounds of COVID vaccinations are being administered to our frontline workers right now.
You're watching WHO 13 News at 4. WHO 13 News, the local news leader.
The U.S. Capitol under siege. See the moment pro-Trump protesters swarmed the building and the never-seen-before chaos and lockdown that followed. The breach of the Capitol brought the counting of the electoral votes to a halt. We catch up with Iowa's congressional delegation as they were rushed to safety. And local healthcare workers are one shot closer to full protection from the coronavirus. How distribution of the second dose of the vaccine is going and who's next in line.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News at 5.
This is the scene at the U.S. Capitol tonight after supporters of President Trump stormed the building. That scene is still playing out. Officials say the National Guard is en route to the Capitol and that the FBI SWAT team is inside right now. Good evening, I'm Janae Town. Thanks for joining us. An extraordinary scene this afternoon as both chambers of Congress adjourned suddenly while protesters laid siege to the Capitol. In the Senate, debate was suddenly gavelled to a halt as Vice President Mike Pence and Iowa Senator Charles Grassley, the president pro tem, were escorted from the chamber. Well, turning now to the forecast, Ed, with everything else going on today, the forecast a lot calmer.
Yes, nice to have something just very calm, cool and collected. We're going to find the same thing in our 7-day forecast. Right now, drive home, not a problem at all. We are going to see temperatures dropping again tonight, colder than last night. We were only at 32 degrees. It's been a steady run for sure. We could see some icy conditions tomorrow morning in very isolated spots. The winter missed us. I'll show you why.
Thanks, Ed. And Democrats will take control of the Senate after two crucial Georgia runoff races were called. Still to come, what Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff's win could mean for the fate of Joe Biden's presidency. Plus, fifth graders in Pella are learning about math and science with balloons, how they're tracking this balloon as it travels around the world, and what the students are learning in the process.
You're watching WHO 13 News at 5. WHO 13 News, the local news leader.
Some call them anarchists and some call them patriots. Regardless, the outcome was the same when a group of protesters stormed the United States Capitol building. We'll update you on Iowa's members of Congress and how the situation is unfolding tonight.
From WHO 13 News, the local news leader, this is WHO 13 News at 6.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Cheering on members of Congress quickly turned into storming their chambers. That's what happened after the president's Save America rally to challenge the results of the November election. Hundreds of people walked past security and pushed past armed Capitol Police as lawmakers were whisked to secure and in some cases undisclosed locations. Those lawmakers were in a joint session to officially count electoral votes that would have certified Joe Biden as the president-elect. Good evening, I'm Dan Winters. Thank you for being with us on this historic and chaotic day for our nation, and one that isn't over yet. Here's a live look right now outside the U.S. Capitol. More than 5 hours since all this began, protesters are still there, but the situation inside the Capitol, which at one point included gunshots, has improved after President Trump urged protesters to leave.
Back to you.
Good reminder. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And regardless of the vaccine, it's not being rolled out quickly enough to help people who are in serious need tonight. Still to come on the news at 6, a Central Iowa food pantry is doing its part to help people in tough situations. Aaron Kiernan's going to join us right after the break to talk about the record number of people in need right now.
Steady temperatures throughout the day, and that's going to be a trend in our 7-day forecast. Very little change going on. We did have some rain-snow mix in western Iowa, just a few flurries trying to work their way into the center portion of the state. More fog to the east. I'll take you on a fixed forecast, staying the same just about every day.
You're watching WHO 13 News at 6 with Aaron Kiernan, Dan Winters, Chief Meteorologist Ed Wilson, and Keith Murphy, Sports. WHO 13 News, the local news leader.
this is a good time, considering everything that's happening right now, not to have a blizzard warning going on in our forecast.
Amen to that. We want to keep you in mind. You should tune in tonight at 10. We're going to have more perspective, local perspective on the events of the day. Please join us for that. In the meantime, have a great evening.